Jim, good morning. Thanks for the time. I guess as we look at that list, and we can go back to it here, what, in your estimation, is going to be the strength of this kind of draft group in 2024?
Yeah, if you look at that graphic, you might notice that all 10 of those guys are hitters, and 9 of them are college hitters. That's definitely the strength of the draft. First 7 guys on that list are college hitters. I don't think it's out of the question that, say, 10 of the top 12 picks in July, and we're still 7 months away, wind up being college bats. That's just the depth of this year's class. You've got some really good players. And J.J. Weatherholt led the nation in batting. Nick Kurtz, best combination of hitting and power in the draft. Travis Bazzana tore up the Cape Cod League. Charlie Condon, one of my favorites because he went to my alma mater. He hits for average and power. You know, Caglianone, everybody saw him at the College World Series last year. He's a two-way guy. Vance Honeycutt has better tools than all of them. Tommy White won a championship at LSU and had an unbelievable year. It's very, very deep with college bats.
Jim, who's the Jackson Holiday of this list?
You mean in terms of a guy who we're not talking about now who could jump up and go number one?
I'm just saying. I mean, like Jackson Holiday, obviously a pedigree with his dad, but you know, here he is. What, he finished up in AA? AAA.
Yeah, the AAA. And you know, the thing is, I don't think this draft has a Jackson Holiday. Like, I don't think this draft has college hitters. It does not have a guy who's that clear 1-1 guy right now. You know, and most of the guys on that list are not up the middle players either. So it's interesting. I'll tell you, the guy on that list who might have some upward mobility, he was number 9 on that list, is Seaver King at Wake Forest. Interesting story. He transferred from NCAA Division II Wingate, where he had a 47-game hitting streak. He can play all over the diamond. He can really hit. He can run. He's super versatile. Wake Forest, you know, Nick Kurtz is from Wake Forest also on that top 10 list, might have 5 first-round picks this year between Kurtz, Seaver King, and 3 of their pitchers. We have Josh Hartle as the highest-ranked pitcher in this year's draft. Chase Burns at Wake Forest, who transferred to Tennessee, is not far behind. And then Michael Massey, who was great out of the bullpen for them, is going to the rotation. No team's ever had more than 3 first-round picks in a year, and Wake could have 5 this season.
I want to ask you about one of the guys who's, I guess, listed technically as a two-way player, and I think it's interesting as we talk about Shohei Ohtani this week for obvious reasons, and I know I'm going to get his last name wrong. Jac Caglianone, is that how it's pronounced? And he is
very nice, Matt.
Okay,
very nice.
Okay,
You're very coachable.
I got that part of it. Is there a strength on either side of the scorecard, or is this guy going to be allowed to do both things?
It's going to be interesting because, one, I think Shohei Ohtani kind of ruins this for everybody by making it look easy. And I do think Shohei Ohtani is literally the best baseball player of all time. I mean, nobody has been able to do what he does. The thing is with Caglianone, he's interesting both ways. He led the nation in home runs last year. It's huge left-handed power. He's up to 99 on the mound as a left-hander. Got a pretty good changeup, too. The thing is, he needs polish in both areas. He chases a lot of pitches out of the strike zone, so you're going to really need to work on the hitting. And on the pitching side, it's stuff over control and command. And, I mean, Al, you could speak to this. I mean, it's hard enough to be just a pitcher with all the work that goes into being a pitcher. It's hard enough to be just a hitter. And when you do both, when you're trying to develop both, it detracts from each because you're not focusing on hitting 100% or pitching 100%. I think he's probably going to come out as a hitter. Somebody may let him try it, but he's just not as advanced where, you know, you're just fine tuning on both sides. I think you're going to have to pick one with him.
Is there a pitching prospect that has identified himself above the rest for you on this top 10, or even, you know, maybe down deeper?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like with the hitters. There's no guy who's clearly number 1 who's ahead of everybody. I mentioned Josh Hartle at Wake Forest. He's left-hander. It's solid to plus stuff, but what really stands out is he's got unbelievable pitch ability. This guy's just very consistent, throws a ton of strikes. He's kind of like left-handed, and the stuff's maybe not quite as good. You know, very similar to Rhett Lauder, who was the first pitcher taken last year's draft out of Wake Forest, where you love the floor. It may be more of a number 3 starter ceiling. You know, maybe number 2 if everything goes well, but you know you're getting a big league starter, and you know you're getting one quick. So he's the sure thing starter. The guy who's super fascinating is Brody Brecht at Iowa, former wide receiver. He's up to 101 miles an hour. He's got calling it a wipeout slider may not even be doing it justice. He's only focused on baseball full time for years, so he's still kind of raw. But I'll put it this way, Brody Brecht has a better fastball than Paul Skeens in terms of same velocity, better shape. and his slider is comparable to Paul Skeens. Skeens is a guy who went #1 last year at LSU. He's nowhere near as polished as Paul Skeens. But if he can add some polish, especially now he's focusing on baseball, Brody Brecht's the type of guy who could rocket up this list and go #1.
Jim, we just did earlier about the spring breakout. I'm sure you're excited about this because our knock on our draft is you draft somebody in the first couple picks and you don't see him for 3 years. We're now having this opportunity in spring training to see guys that actually contributed this year before they actually get to the big leagues. What do you know about it, and how excited are you for the spring breakout?
I'm really excited about it. And, so we're going to have you're going to have prospect matchups between two organizations. Every team's going to play one game. A couple teams are going to play two because there's an odd number of teams in both Florida and Arizona. And most of their best prospects you're going to see in these games. I mean, look at that graphic. I mean, how could you not be excited to see Jackson Holliday versus Paul Skeens, 2 #1 overall picks? I mean, that's an unbelievable matchup. I was just looking, for the White Sox and Cubs. I mean, a natural matchup there. You get Cade Horton, who I think is going to be in the big leagues this year, who I love coming out of Oklahoma, against Colson Montgomery, who's one of the best shortstop prospects. I mean, you can dream about that stuff, and it's going to be a lot of fun watching these guys match up. I love it because I think it creates more interest in these guys. Yep. It puts the spotlight on them in spring training. And this is different than, okay, the Pirates have a game and maybe Paul Skeens will throw an inning, or maybe, some guy who's an A-ball, Colson Montgomery, was a AA, will come in and play a couple innings. No, you're going to see all these guys at their best. And what I'm kind of hoping, this is step one. I mean, there's a lot of logistics to go through to make all this stuff happen. I think it's cool that they're pairing it, I think, in almost every case with a big league game to encourage fans to watch both. But I think the dream, what would be cool long-term is, can we turn this into a tournament? Instead of each team playing one game, could you set up a bracket? I think you would need, if I'm doing my math right, 5 games to determine the champion. Not everybody would play 5 games. But can you imagine a tournament with prospects? And that would be pretty cool. So I'm hoping this is great. This is going to be super exciting. You can tell I'm getting excited just thinking about it. But I think I look at it as a stepping stone. I think it can get even bigger, as the years go on. Kind of similar to the draft combine, which first year they had to figure some things out. The draft combine keeps getting better. I think this is going to be tremendous spring breakout, and can't wait to see what it looks like, 3-5 years down the line.
Yeah, Jim, as you know, our Harold Reynolds is intimately involved with the draft combine. He is apparently called in from Los Angeles, wants to visit
Good
with
morning.
you. Oh, that's good.
What's happening, brother? How you doing?
Hey, Harold.
Harold, do you have a specific question for Jim on the MLB.com top 10 overall prospects list?
How did you come up with the title?
You go ahead, Jim.
How'd you come up with
The title of what, spring breakout?
I guess so.
Who cares about the facts?
Harold, any other questions?
I think you guys are using the Harold soundboard.
Any other questions for Jim Callis, Harold?
What's the secret to raising your kids the way you have?
Yeah, that's a
divide and
soundboard.
conquer.
He is right on point. He's in Ohtani mode already. Say goodbye, Harold.
Great job, man, with this interview.
Right. It's all,
Harold, I don't think you guys have ever gotten me with the Harold soundboard before.
He thought he was on the line.
Well, he is on the line, Harold.
I kind of didn't really think he was on the line, but I wasn't sure.
He has to be a part of everything around here. You know that as well as anybody. Jim, we appreciate the visit, man. Thanks for the early preview. It's never too soon to preview this kind of thing, and we appreciate your insights on the 2024 draft class.
Thanks, guys. Happy holidays.